let's have some context. Codex is in the testnet right now. People can run their own nodes and join the testnet and start trying to use it. So what does the Codex Factory do?
All right. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Adam. I work on the Codex team, on the marketplace team. So mostly developing around the smart contracts and all the storage marketplace component. But yeah, I've also did some tooling here and there to mainly fix my needs because I'm also running um, like a node at home, developing some depth around Codex. And that's exactly where, for example, the Codex Factory plugs in. So Codex Factory is small utility that it lets you spawn small cluster using Docker on your local host, so on your machine, which is fully set up. So you have all the components running there. You have the sort of like local blockchain using the hard hat running there. You have the whole marketplace support with proving, and validator, and everything. So it is very easy to run, and you get like isolated but working environment, which, for example, you can use to run in tests, which is I think one of the main use case could be running integration test against that tool. It can easily run in CI, but also like it can be easily used for development. So if you want to like develop some app that uses our API, this tool is great to just run the whole suite. In future, it will have like also some sub comments around populating the cluster with some dummy data, so you don't have to like run the API calls yourself, but a bit more user friendly. And yeah, that's the gist.
Just to make sure I understood correctly, you run an entire network of a number of nodes locally. They are not connected to the testnet. Is that right?
Yeah, it's full local. You can run it even without the internet if you want to.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that could be useful for people trying to develop with Codex, not have external dependencies on testnets and whatever state that they're in. So that makes sense. Yeah. Would you like to show us?
Of course. All right, then. Let me share my screen. All right, then. So first of all, you'll find the Codex Factory here in our repo. It has, I think, pretty well documented README. So there's some nice features that I'll also dive in afterwards. But let's jump into demoing this. So when I say it's really easy to run it, so it is written in TypeScript. So yes, you need to have two things when you want to use this. First is Node.js installed, and second, you need to have Docker running. If you have these two, then you can just simply run npx Codex Factory and start, which tells like to start a cluster. And then something that specifies what version you want to run. So let's start with the simplest. This is our latest release, 0.2.3. You just hit the enter. And if you even don't have the Codex Factory installed, the npx will do its magic of fetching the package in background. So maybe you need to confirm, I think, if you don't have it installed for the first time, that it will fetch it. But once you have it locally cached, then it just starts to boot it up. So it does several things. It's first of all, it creates isolated Docker network, which is the first step, that it spawns the blockchain node. which has all the pre-funded accounts and with the testnet tokens that we use, and also the ganache sort of ether. It will spawn a boot node, and then it will spawn several host nodes that connect to this boot node. This boot node also serves as sort of client role. And then it will wait after all the nodes are connected, and then bam, you have the Codex Factory cluster running. Yeah. But yes, Ben?
Question: how many nodes of which kind do I have? Because it says host nodes.
Yeah.
How many are there?
I think, well, actually, you can check. So if you just Control Command C or Control C, it will exit the cluster, terminate it, and everything. You can check that by having a look into the help command. I think it's by default 4 nodes, or no, 5. So there is a one cluster. There is the client boot node, and then there are 4 host nodes. You can configure this. By default, it's 4. 4 is maximum. But yes, if you want to spin less nodes, then you're feel free.
Okay, so I imagine that these host nodes, they are pre-configured to be able to generate proofs. Are they also automatically configured with an availability, or is that still something that you have to do?
No, they are not by default, but that's sort of where this API or this command line sort of commands will plug in. So you can spawn like fresh cluster and just run 2 or 3 commands that will populate the cluster with availabilities or with the data or with the storage request as you desire. But yeah, by default, it's pure network with nothing on it.
Okay, maybe I explain availabilities really quickly for those who haven't heard it before. When you run a Codex node as a host, then it needs to be configured with the proving system so that it can generate storage proofs. But that doesn't automatically make it start picking up contracts and filling slots. In order to do that, you need to tell it how much space you want to sell and what the price and the duration and some other attributes of this space will be. And that's called an availability. And there's an API call to create an availability inside your host node, and then the host will automatically start participating in the storage marketplace. So the reason why I ask is I have something, well, not too dissimilar from this, and it also spawns host nodes and it automatically configures them with availabilities, which is convenient sometimes, but not always. So it makes sense that you decided not to embed that in the tool right at this point. So okay, cool. Can you show us anything else on this?
First, so there's a few things around this tool. So first of all, when you spawn the cluster, for example, these logs are from the boot node, from the client node, as I sort of call them. For example, if you want to run integration tests against that, you most probably don't want to like look at the logs or having this process blocking your CI pipeline. So there is a subcommand that you can use, which is called Detached. So what this does is that after it will boot the whole cluster, it will just exit, and the cluster will run on the background as sort of Docker container. That's kind of handy. Let me wait for it to spawn. You can have a look in the meanwhile actually on the Docker, so you can see that there are all containers here. The 4 hosts, 1 client, and the blockchain container. And yeah, you can see that it exited, but at the same time, it's still running. So yeah, that's great for tests. Obviously, you need to have a way how to stop it. So there is the stop command that will exit all. Then there is another sort of consideration. By default, these containers are not removed. So if you are, for example, doing some work, I know development work, you have your environment with all the availability and storage proofs. You need to, I don't know, grab a coffee or have a break. You can just stop it, and then if you simply run the command, the start command again, it will pick up these containers. So it's sort of persistent, which also means that if you want to start fresh, there is the fresh flag, which will delete these containers before spawning. So these will get replaced. That's another sort of a feature I have there. Now, let me see. What else? But yeah, now let's talk about the version. So you see like 0.2, 0.2.3, it makes sense. That's our released version. And there are a few ways or a few other things you can sort of run using this this command. So first of all, this is based on our Docker images that we built. And we build these images on several occasions. So obviously on the release, but we also build them on every master commit. So basically, what you can do is if you go to name Codex and you see a comment you would like to run, or maybe not this one because the CI is still running there. But if I'll grab this comment hash and I will run this fresh, it should theoretically, now let's see if it works.
Oh, of course it works. Yeah, so you can put any commit hash for which there's been a Docker image built.
Yes,
You can run with it. That's nice.
that's nice. So yeah, I mean, this is bit comes with a bit of a warning. Like there might be breaking things in these commits that might result in B factory not really working. So I'm trying to keep it like stable for the stable releases. But if you are trying to like run a specific commit, you might end up at this tool not working. So just be aware of that. There's also like specific one special placeholder or Docker image tag that we have, and that's the latest. So if you want to run, I guess the latest Nim Codex build, you can use that. Hopefully soon there we'll have also like a placeholder for stable version, which would be like the latest released version. That's still sort of pending work. And then one more thing that I wanted to sort of talk about, which is I think kind of nice, is that you can sort of configure this Codex version externally. What I mean by that is that you can have let me exit this. Come on, too slow. So, for example, you're developing some, I don't know, Node.js application that uses our API. So you would have most probably package JSON in there. So let me create one. Okay, come on.
You're just thinking about it.
Yeah, not sure about it. Seems like yes, great. So yeah, having this package.json, you can have this version specified in this package.json. Wait. All right. So now, if I'll do start fresh, I'm not specifying any version, and well, I didn't find it.
I think there's a typo in the test engined.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that. I thought maybe you know something I don't. But
Yeah. Now, let me have engines. Okay, it's engines. Okay. All right.
all in the documentation.
Obviously, and ta-da! Here it is. So, like, you can have nicely place it in one of these places, which is specified here in the package JSON, or have a custom file called Codex Factory JSON in your project, and sort of manage this version that the tool is compatible with in this place, and Codex Factory will pick it up from there. And with that, yeah, I mean, I think it's about all. Like, so yeah, and maybe just a note. So each of these nodes that we have here running has the API port exposed. So it's 8080, the default port number we use for the client node, and then incremented by the host number, let's say, for the other node. So you can sort of develop against those endpoints. And yeah, any question, Ben?
Yes. I was actually going to ask you about the ports next. These defaults make sense, but I can totally imagine we're running in a cluster or some weird environment, and I need to move these ports to like the 30,000 range or something. Is there a way I can do that?
No. Then you'll have a
tool.
Yeah, make a PR to support this.
Okay, it doesn't do it. Doesn't do it yet. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, if we haven't needed it, then we haven't built it. So
Exactly.
okay.
Let me tell you, it will not be hard to implement, but yeah, the need was not here, so I haven't bothered yet with this.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Hey, I like it. It looks very nice. Thanks. Thanks for showing.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Anything else we should talk about?
No, I think it's all I wanted to share with you. So yeah, thanks a lot.